Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Manchester United have spent over 1.3 billion in 10 years. And Manchester United have won just 4 trophies in 10 years. Manchester United have recouped around 397 million in sales. Manchester United have wasted over 900 million in the transfer market. So this is a new study from the CIES Football Observatory. So I just wanted to give you the news on that. Manchester United have not won a trophy for 5 years. Manchester United's only chance of winning the trophy this season is the Champions League, and I'm very sceptical Man United are going to win that, so it's going to be another trophyless season for Man United, unfortunately. Manchester United have not won the Premier League since 2013. Since Ferguson, Manchester United have sacked 4 permanent managers. Manchester United sacked David Moyes after 10 months. Manchester United finished 7th under the David Moyes era. Then Manchester United sacked Louis van Gaal after 2 years, despite us winning the FA Cup under him. Then Manchester United sacked Jose Mourinho after 2.5 years. Mourinho did enjoy one good season at Man United because he won 3 trophies in his first season. The 3 trophies he won was the Europa League, the EFL Cup and the Community Shield, but the reasons it didn't work out under Mourinho is because he had bad disputes with the board and bad disputes with the top players. And last year Manchester United sacked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer after almost 3 years in charge. Manchester United have not been the same team since Ferguson retired. And like I've mentioned so many times, no one's going to replicate what Ferguson did at the club. You know, Ferguson, greatest manager of all time. He brought success to Manchester United. He won 30 odd trophies, including 13 Premier League titles. But Ferguson didn't settle in straight away because he didn't win out in his first 4 years at Man United. Alex Ferguson was at Manchester United for around 26 years, so reflecting on that, he was a long-serving manager. The only mistake Ferguson made was recommending David Moyes in when he retired, but the reasons he did that is because they were both Scottish, and Ferguson for some reason had a lot of time for Moyes. Obviously we've got Ralph Rangnick. He's Manchester United's interim manager until the end of the season. Then Rangnick is expected to take up a consultancy role for a further 2 years. Rangnick's been Man United's interim manager for 2 months now. He's managed 11 games so far and he's lost 2 games so far. I'm very sceptical that Man United will offer Rangnick the job on a permanent basis. But revert back to a few weeks ago, it actually said Man United had put their search for a new manager on hold after being impressed by Ralph Rangnick since he took charge in December, and at that point it said Man United were considering offering Rangnick the job on a permanent basis. There's been good performances under Rangnick, there's also been poor performances as well, but I think Rangnick's been blameless for them poor performances. You know, the players have had to take responsibility for the poor performances. Before Manchester United, Rangnick was the head of sports and development at Lokomotiv Moscow. I've got to give him credit because he has made changes since he's come in. Earlier on this season, he recommended Ewan Sharping as an assistant coach and analyst. He also recommended Chris Armisen as an assistant coach, and he recommended Saz Chalenzin as a sports psychologist. Now, like I updated you on my last video, Rangnick recently did his second part of his press conference ahead of Manchester United's game against Burnley. He did mention that the club are improving on the pitch despite the shock FA Cup exit to Middlesbrough, and he said Manchester United are fourth right now. He said everybody inside the club, including myself, would be happy to finish fourth at the end of the season. And he said if Manchester United have not won a title in the last 10 years, there are some good reasons for that. And Rangnick said that Man United can compete for the title next season. He said not so long ago that Rangnick is facing a fresh dressing room revolt with his Manchester United players. Obviously, it's mentioned that Man United players are unhappy with Rangnick, with his treatment of Jessie Lingard. Earlier on this season, there was reports coming out saying that Rangnick was losing the dressing room already, and it said 17 Manchester United players were unhappy and wanted to leave. Rangnick has endured one transfer window as Manchester United's interim manager, and he wasn't backed enough last month. It was a very disappointing January transfer window for Man United because Man United did not make any signings, and obviously Man United wanted to sign a midfielder because when Rangnick first came in, he identified Man United's midfield as a weakness. We should have let Lingard and Henderson leave last month, but we didn't because we blocked their exits. We had the incident with Mason Greenwood towards the end of the window as well. Man United did loan quite a few players out in January. We loaned Martial out to Sevilla, we loaned Diallo out to Rangers, we loaned Donny van de Beek out to Everton. Ethan Laird went out on loan, Teden Mengi went out on loan to Birmingham, Tuanzebe went out on loan to Napoli, so Man United let around 8 players leave last month. Now, there is a chance that Erik ten Hag will be Manchester United's next permanent manager. Man United have received a boost in regards to Erik ten Hag. A Dutch journalist claims Erik ten Hag will leave Ajax at the end of the season, following Mark Overmars' departure. Erik ten Hag has been upset, obviously, with Mark Overmars leaving. Earlier on this season, Rangnick said he wanted Erik ten Hag to become Man United's new permanent manager in the summer. And there's Man United fans that want Erik ten Hag to take the Old Trafford job instead of Pochettino. I think if Erik ten Hag came to manage in the Premier League, he'd replicate what he's done at Ajax. You've got to admire what he's done at Ajax. He's developed the young players well. He's won a couple of titles with them. Revert back to 2019, he got Ajax to the Champions League semi-finals. So there you go, and his contract at Ajax expires next year. Ajax appointed Erik ten Hag back in 2017, so he's been Ajax manager for over 4 years. Ajax is the 4th club he's managing in his managerial career. Before Ajax, he managed Utrecht. Before then, he managed Bayern Munich's reserves. And before then, he managed Go Ahead Eagles. There's still a lot of rumours coming out regarding Mauricio Pochettino. He said not so long ago that Manchester United consider swapping Cristiano Ronaldo for PSG boss Mauricio Pochettino. You know, Ronaldo has been targeted by PSG, and there's a good chance Ronaldo will leave Man United in the summer if they fail to qualify for the Champions League. Ronaldo's unhappy at the club. I think he regrets re-signing for the club now. Pochettino has been Manchester United's #1 choice to become the club's new permanent manager. Pochettino has reportedly told his friends he will be leaving PSG in the summer. Reports from France said the other week Pochettino could be sacked by March. Pochettino's job hinges on PSG getting to the next round of the Champions League. PSG face Real Madrid in the last 16 of the Champions League. Pochettino's been PSG's manager for over a year. His contract with them expires next year. I think he's won a French Cup at PSG. But I reckon Pochettino would be the right manager for Man United. I think he'd suit the strappings of the club and he'd get the best out of these group of players. And he's well proven in the Premier League, which is beneficial, because before Pochettino endured the 5.5-year managerial tenure with Tottenham. Analysing the vast majority of his managerial tenure at Tottenham, Tottenham were competing in and out of the top 4. But revert back to 2018, he got Tottenham to their first ever Champions League final, and at one point he almost won the league when he was Tottenham manager. Tottenham made a bad mistake getting rid of him. Before Tottenham managed Southampton, he only enjoyed a short managerial tenure with Southampton, but he still managed to guide Southampton to their highest ever finish in the Premier League. So they're the clubs he's managed in the Premier League so far. And revert back to when Man United sacked Mourinho. Man United should have got Pochettino then, but the club decided to go with Solskjaer instead. I'm hearing PSG are trying to get Zidane to replace Pochettino. Man United are looking for the 5th permanent manager since Ferguson. We need to get the Glazers out of the club because they've been one of the biggest issues at the club for a long time. The Glazers have owned Manchester United for around 16.5 years. The Glazers bought Manchester United for $500 million back in 2005. And revert back towards the end of last season, Manchester United fans protested against the Glazers at the Carrington training ground and at Old Trafford because the Glazers were planning to scrap the Champions League for that European Super League, but in the end the Glazers ended up apologising. Well, that's what Solskjaer mentioned at the time. Towards the end of last season, it said the Glazers were only willing to sell Man United, but for only £4 billion. I'm glad that Woodward's no longer with us. At the end of last month, Woodward stepped down as Manchester United's vice chairman, and Woodward was definitely one of the biggest issues at the club. Ed Woodward was at Manchester United for 17 years. It was Richard Arnold that replaced Ed Woodward as the new chief executive. In the summer, I'm expecting Manchester United to make some signings. There's been a lot of players Man United have been linked with. You know, we've been linked with Declan Rice. West Ham valued Declan Rice at 100 million. Jude Bellingham, you know, we've been linked with him. He's been a long-term target for Man United. Last month, Man United went in for Amadou Haidara from RB Leipzig. John McGinn from Aston Villa is a summer target for Man United. On deadline day last month, Man United were interested in Yves Bissouma from Brighton. So there you go. But Man United definitely need a centre defensive midfielder. A lot of players are going to depart the club in the summer. in the summer, I reckon Henderson will leave, Phil Jones and Baye will leave, Tellez could leave, but I hope he doesn't because Tellez has been impressive under Rangnick. He's our first choice left back under Rangnick. Tellez won't be playing any part tonight against Burnley due to COVID. Tellez missed the game against Middlesbrough. We'll look to sell Harry Maguire and Aaron Wan-Bissaka in the summer. I hope we do because that duo are not good enough to represent the club. We'll sell Matic as well in the summer. If Rangnick doesn't get the job on a permanent basis, Pogba will leave in the summer. Jessie Lingard will leave in the summer as well. Mata will leave as well. Cavani will leave. If Man United fail to qualify for the Champions League, Ronaldo will leave. If Martial does well at Sevilla, I think there's a good chance Sevilla will get him permanently. Same thing with Donny van de Beek. If he does well at Everton, I think Everton will consider getting him permanently. And same thing with Amad Diallo. Manchester United have got good players. We've also got inconsistent players as well. So, look who we've got. We've got Edison Cavani. Good player, Cavani. Cavani is available for the game tonight against Burnley. Rangnick's confirmed that in his press conference. Cavani missed the game against Middlesbrough in the Cup. Cavani will leave Man United in the summer because revert back to earlier on this season, Ralph Rangnick revealed that Edison Cavani wants to stay at Man United till the end of the season. Man United got him on a free transfer from PSG back in the summer of 2020. River Plate are considering a transfer for Cavani in the summer to replace Julian Alvarez. Last year, Cavani was linked to Barcelona. Well, it said last year that Cavani agreed to join Barcelona on an 18-month contract because Barcelona was seeing him as a replacement for Aguero because Aguero retired due to heart problems. Last year, Cavani was linked with Juventus and Boca Juniors. Cavani rejected a move, though, to Boca Juniors. Cavani's had a few injuries, by the way, at Man United this season. Marcus Rashford. To his credit, he's picked up form in his last few games. Rashford did well against Middlesbrough. He had some chances, didn't convert them, and he also had a disallowed goal. Rashford scored the winner against West Ham before the international break. Came off the bench. He also came off the bench and scored against Brentford. Reflecting on that ended his 3-month goal drought. But Rashford, has enjoyed a lot of poor games since he had that operation on his shoulder. And a lot of United fans, including me, have said that Rashford's not been the same player since he had that operation on his shoulder. He missed the first 2 months of the season with that shoulder problem, didn't he? He had a minor leg injury earlier on in the season. Rashford's contract at Man United expires next year. Earlier on in the season, it said Rashford was preparing to open contract talks with Man United. Rashford receives £200,000 a week at the moment. PSG have been linked with him earlier on this season. Barcelona went in for him. Rashford's been part of the club for a long time. He's been a United player since the age of 7 and he broke into our senior squad back in 2016, and since then he's gone to make nearly 300 appearances in all competitions. We've got Anthony Elanga. He's a very good asset for the first team squad, like I've mentioned so many times. Elanga did miss the decisive penalty against Middlesbrough in the Cup. And reflecting on that, Anthony Elanga got racially abused on social media. I totally disagreed with that. Yeah, he may have cost us, but like I've just said, Elanga's done well since he got into the first team. He's only the age of 19, been part of the club for a long time. Joined Manchester United's academy at the age of 12. revert back towards the end of last year, committed his future to the club because he signed a contract with Man United until June 2026. There's an option of a further year. We've got Juan Mata. Obviously don't have a great deal of a perception on him now, Mata, because he doesn't get in the team. You know, Mata lost his place in the team a while ago. Like I've said, you know, he'll be leaving Man United in the summer. He's out of contract at Man United in the summer. But he's had a good career, I think, Juan Mata at Man United. You know, Mata's made around 277 appearances in all competitions and he's scored 51 goals. Mata's been at Manchester United for 8 years now, so reflecting on that, he's been a long-serving player. Manchester United got Mata from Chelsea back in 2014, paid £37.1 million for him, brought him in under the David Moyes era, and revert back to 2020, Mata rejected an £18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia. We also have Jaden Sancho as well. He's starting to come good now, is Jaden Sancho, to be fair. You know, he did well against Middlesbrough in the cup recently. You know, Sancho scored our goal. It was a well-taken goal as well. I think it did get a slight deflection, but it was Sancho's first Old Trafford goal, and it was his FA Cup debut he scored on. Sancho hit the crossbar, don't forget, in the first 90 seconds of the game. There's other good games Sancho's had as well. He did well in the final game of last year in the 3-1 win against Burnley, but unfortunately was denied a goal in that game. He did very well in the games against Chelsea and Villarreal away, scored in both of them games. He did well in the first half against Crystal Palace as well last year. But Sancho's had his poor games and he's still done nowhere near as well as a lot of Man United fans expected of him, but it does take some players time to settle in, doesn't it? Prior to the Middlesbrough game, Sancho missed the last few games due to personal reasons. Sancho endured 4 good years with Borussia Dortmund before he signed for Man United. Man United signed Sancho last summer for 78 million with add-ons included. Man United paid 73 million up front. Sancho's got a contract with the club until June 2026 as an option of a further year. We've got the best player in the world overall in Cristiano Ronaldo. I thought Ronaldo was wasteful against Middlesbrough in the cup. You know, he had chances. One of his chances were an overhead kick and he missed a penalty against Middlesbrough. And like I've already mentioned, Ronaldo will leave Man United in the summer if Man United fail to qualify for the Champions League. Well, Ronaldo faces a 25% pay cut should Man United fail to qualify for the Champions League. And if Ronaldo doesn't like the club's next manager, that will persuade him to leave. Around 3 weeks ago now, Ronaldo gave an interview, didn't he? And he was very critical of the youngsters. So reflecting on that, he was demanding more from the youngsters, and he said Ralph Rangnick will do a good job at Man United, and Ronaldo also said, I'm not at Man United to compete for 6th or 7th. He said finishing below 3rd is unacceptable. Since Ronaldo re-signed, he's scored 14 goals in all competitions. He has over 800 goals in his career, and Man United re-signed Ronaldo last summer for 20 million with add-ons included. He wears a number 7 shirt, and Ronaldo's got a contract with Man United until 2023. So his contract expires next year. There's an option to extend for the further year. Ronaldo receives nearly £500,000 a week, so he's the highest earner at Man United at the moment. Mason Greenwood, you know, he was a good player. Obviously Mason Greenwood is banned from England and Manchester United, so he can't train or play any matches. Last week, Mason Greenwood was released on bail after his arrest. Greenwood's been arrested twice on suspicion of sexual assault, making threats to kill, rape and assault. And not so long ago, Man United fans burnt their Mason Greenwood shirts. It said yesterday, like I updated you, that Mason Greenwood was dropped by Nike after rape allegation. And the other week, Mason Greenwood was removed from FIFA 22. I'd say his career at Manchester United is officially over, and his England career is also officially over. Greenwood joined Manchester United's academy at the age of 6, and he made his senior debut for Man United back in 2019, and since then he's gone to make 129 appearances. He's scored over 30 goals. And last season he signed a new 4-year contract. Man United also have Jessie Lingard. You know, Jessie Lingard obviously doesn't get in the team. Like I've said already, he'll leave Man United in the summer, but he should have left last month. But like I said, Man United blocked his exit. You know, it was Newcastle and West Ham that were battling to get Lingard on loan. We got Bruno Fernandez. He's one of the best players we've got, and he's certainly one of the best signings Man United have made since Ferguson retired. Fernandez, though, has enjoyed a lot of poor games this season. He's had a few good games, but I thought he was far superior last season to how he has been so far this season. Fernandez did play in the cup game against Middlesbrough. He had his chances, but didn't convert them. He had one good chance when he hit the post. How he missed that, I do not know. And I think he's recently picked up a knock, but he should be available for the game against Burnley tonight. Fernandez played very well in the games against Brentford and Aston Villa away in the league, because against Brentford he provided 2 assists and he scored both of Man United's goals in the 2-2 draw against Villa. Earlier on in the season, Fernandez rejected a contract offer from Man United. Bruno Fernandez' contract talks are postponed until the summer, having turned down an offer last year. It says Fernandez was demanding similar money to the top earners at the club. Fernandez receives £100,000 a week at the moment. Fernandez has got a contract with Man United until 2025. There's an option of a further 12 months. He's been a Manchester United player for 2 years. Man United signed Bruno Fernandez from Sporting Lisbon back in January 2020. You know, we've got Paul Pogba. He's also a good player. He's not only a good player, he's an imperative player as well. The concern about Pogba, though, is injury prone, because he has sustained quite a few injuries since he re-signed for the club. Just come back from an injury not so long ago. Pogba played against Middlesbrough, and that was his first appearance in 3 months. To be fair, Pogba played well against Middlesbrough. You know, his movement was good, he got into good positions, and obviously he won the penalty. Like I mentioned earlier on, Pogba is willing to stay at Man United as long as Ralph Rangnick is the manager for next season. But if Rangnick don't get the job permanently, there's a very good chance Pogba will depart the club in the summer. You know, we got Scott McTominay. I don't think he's good enough, but to be honest with you, I think he's been one of our best performers under Rangnick. McTominay was quite poor against Middlesbrough in the cup recently. We've also got Fred. I don't think Fred's good enough to represent the club either. Fred's got COVID, as you all know. Man United got Fred a few years ago from Shakhtar Donetsk, got him for £50 million. We have Matic, not good enough. Well, Matic isn't one of our first choice midfielders, is he? Well, he's the only predominant centre defensive midfielder Man United have got at the moment. Man United will offload Matic in the summer, definitely. We've got Tellez. You know, Tellez is a decent left back. Luke Shaw's a good left back overall, but Shaw's enjoyed a lot of poor games this season. shocked really, because last season Luke Shaw was superb. In fact, he was the best left back in the Premier League last season. Shaw recently played against Middlesbrough because Tellez wasn't available. He didn't do too bad against Middlesbrough, to be fair. Luke Shaw's injury prone though, which is definitely a concern. You know, we got Maguire, not good enough, need to move him on in the summer. You know, got Bailly. He's a good centre-half, but doesn't get in the team much. He lost his place in the team a while ago and he's too injury-prone. He's out with an injury at the moment. Varane, good centre-half. You know, most of the time when he plays, he seems to make the difference. Varane did well against Middlesbrough. He did well against West Ham before the break, and he did well against Brentford. Varane's endured a couple of injuries since he signed for the club. But Varane needs a world-class centre-half alongside him. He hasn't got a world-class centre-half alongside him, has he? Lindelof, you know, not good enough. Need to move him on. Lindelof hasn't played the last few games due to personal reasons. Jones, we'll sell him in the summer like I've already mentioned. You know, Jones doesn't really get in the team, but he recently came on against Middlesbrough. Delors, not good enough, but to his credit, he's been impressive under Rangnick. Delors our first choice right back under Rangnick. Bissaka, another right back we've got, not good enough, need to move him on in the summer. De Gea, our first choice keeper, he's a world class goalkeeper, is De Gea. You know, he's been good this season, he's now back to his best. Don't forget De Gea got named the Premier League Player of the Month for January. He became the first goalkeeper to win the award in 6 years. Well, De Gea's won everything domestically at the football club. Henderson's our second choice keeper. We need to move him on because he doesn't get in goal much, because De Gea reclaimed that #1 spot back last summer. Henderson's only made 3 appearances this season. We've got Tom Eaton, he's our third choice keeper. He was just a backup, wasn't he? You know, got him on a free from Villa last summer. And I think Lee Grant is still at the club. So there you go. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you with. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel if you do. Consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very soon.